Dad and I arrived at Wudon and were greeted by a wispy-haired kung fu master with a Fu Manchu mustache, who turned out to be my brother. Finally able to make use of someone who knew enough Mandarin to order good food, we had what might have seemed like a huge meal before I understood the caloric requirements of the kung fu lifestyle. Passing through the gates of Wudon Mountain, we found more of an amusement park than a sanctuary. The first temple we saw was being constructed on fake landscape, and access to the mountain was guarded by a maze of turnstiles, a ticket clerk who sold us an annual pass, and a steady flow of tour buses. Situated on a beautifully scenic river, our modest monastery had the layout of a motel, replete with the meager needs of a monastic lifestyle. These included rock-hard beds, a bathroom with squat toilets, which I will go into much more detail than you're probably comfortable with later, and which is where we did our laundry, and a sink where we'd shower after a long day of kung fu. And so, upon arrival, we were graciously treated to green tea, and drank to our health before assaulting it with 4 full days of kung fu training. Wudon Mountain is the birthplace of internal martial arts, and so, while its exterior has given me pits to poke at, beneath the veneer is rich tradition, peaking beauty, and styles of martial arts that are much harder to do than they actually look. Directly adjacent to our humble hovel was a stone training area, guarded by a concession stand run by local farmers. Here, Dad, Joe, and I were trained by Master Wei. Master Wei was a kung fu expert who probably attributed his youthful appearance to either the chi-enhancing tea that he drank like Gatorade, his afternoon naps, or the fact that he was 26 years old. When he wasn't distracted by his smartphone, Master Wei used a hands-on teaching style that reflected his complete inability to speak English. And so, Dad and I learned Xing Yi, an aggressive linear style, while Joe focused on the circular and complex Ba Gua. A typical kung fu day started with calisthenics and stretching, then progressed to breakfast, followed by 2.5 hours of training that included holding deep stances for up to 10 minutes at a time, and then moving up and down the terrace using our forms. Then we'd have lunch. And though we had an 1.5-hour break after lunch, when we weren't trudging up and down the mountain, we used this time to train in other martial arts, which really made the afternoon session drag to its full 2.5 hours. But it also made dinner the most delicious meal of the day, even though it was exactly the same as breakfast and lunch. And then for dessert, sometimes we did more training by moonlight.
We're basically standing in very difficult poses. Gosh, that was for like 2.5 hours. So, that after being an attorney for 5 years, I can now say that I definitely prefer that to being a kung fu master.
Besides you, spectators to all these shenanigans included Chinese tourists, who probably found the coincidence that the 3 white people on the mountain and the 3 people visibly doing kung fu were the same 3 people, almost as exciting as the monkeys, who at one point stole peanuts from my dad. Then there were the farmers, who sold peanuts to the tourists to be stolen by the monkeys, in an example of the capitalism that the Chinese government allows its citizens and monkeys. They demonstrated that knowledge of martial arts apparently grows organically on Wudon Mountain. And finally, there was the adorable 2-year-old who used beautiful forward cadences to constantly demand things, such as swigs of the beer that was served at every meal. And because Joe chose this over other reputable kung fu schools in the area, based on the outdoor aesthetic that comes with not having a building, rainy mountain weather forced us to practice inside the nearby bus stop, on the balcony outside our rooms, and otherwise on stones slick with more perspiration than you see here on Joe's back. Though this commentary has been largely critical of our kung fu training, this was an absolutely amazing experience that I wouldn't trade for for all the tea in China, which is in fact really good tea. And for all his shortcomings, Master Wei was able to demonstrate that martial arts are a universal language. So, after teaching us the basics, such as how much it sucks to hold the required stance for more than 20 seconds, we were ready to go down the linear and arduous path that is Xing Yi.
只会流汗不会流泪，不懂后退只会奉陪，只想尝到挑战的滋味。吃一点亏已无所谓，受一点苦也无所谓，一身伤痕换一份体会。怎么能够将白变黑？怎么能够将是变废？怎么能够眼睁睁看着世界不分真伪？做到问心无愧，代价不菲。只要做得对，就是最大的安慰。不管是谁，只活一回，对得起自己，也就不必说后悔。问天，问地，问心无愧。只要做得对，不管有没有人陪。不管是谁，只活一回，对得起自己，永远不问痛不痛，累不累。吃一点亏已无所谓，受一点苦也无所谓，一身伤痕换一份体会。怎么能够将白变黑？怎么能够将是变废？怎么能够眼睁睁看着世界不分真伪？做到问心无愧，代价不菲。只要做得对，就是最大的安慰。不管是谁，只活一回，对得起自己，也就不必说后悔。问天，问地，问心无愧。只要做得对，不管有没有人陪。不管是谁，只活一回，对得起自己，永远不问痛不痛，累不累。做到问心无愧，代价不菲。只要做得对，就是最大的安慰。不管是谁，只活一回，对得起自己，也就不必说后悔。问天，问地，问心无愧。只要做得对，不管有没有人陪。不管是谁，只活一回，对得起自己，永远不问痛不痛，累不累。
Ready to do it again. Ready to do it again. Awesome. But then, even after that, I'm like, my body's like, wait, Nate, don't you remember how much it sucked after doing it for 2 hours? I'm like, oh yeah. Oops.